Welcome to another episode of Truck Tech. I'm Thomas Wasson, and today we're going to be diving into autonomous trucking and their path towards commercialization. I've been at conferences and spoken with folks, and there's two big years, 2025 and 2027 in the space, and there's a lot of questions folks are having, especially we've had recent developments where we've had driverless out, early forms of autonomous testing, and the promos in terms of what are we going to do and make money now that we've developed the technology. So I'm going to be super excited. Shortly, we're about to be talking with the folks from Aurora, who is also going to be gearing up for its first commercial launch in April. And we're super excited to be joined by David Maday, the Chief Financial Officer at Aurora. And David, it's super exciting to have you on the show. Give us a little bit of a brief background. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, Thomas, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. A bit of background on me. I've been in the auto business essentially my whole career. I spent 20 plus years at General Motors in a variety of functions in finance as well as in program execution. Led their global M&A activities for quite a bit of time. And it was during my time at GM when I first got introduced to autonomous companies and autonomous technology. And I made the switch 5 years ago over to Aurora. It first to start up and really kind of solidify their partnership ecosystem approach, which I think is really a critical separator of us versus some of the other folks that have been in this space for some time. And after that, had an opportunity to take on the Chief Financial Officer role. And I got to say, it's been an amazing experience. It's an amazing company with just great leadership and great employees. So I'm super excited about the future and possibilities here at Aurora.
Well, there's a lot to be excited about. One of the big things is going to be the April driverless, the commercial launch for the driverless option. Tell us a little bit about that and what kind of, what led up to it? What's going on behind the scenes in order to make that a reality?
Yeah, well, I think we're super excited, right? Just in a couple of months, Aurora will launch its first driverless trucking product. And we work closely with our partners, with our customers, with the regulators to make it a success. What we've been doing for the course of several years is really just kind of leading the way for the industry in terms of our approach, which is a very transparent, safety-first approach to launching a driverless product. But we do this with the end in mind. Like, our goal has never been to have a driverless truck just driving around. I think that's an incredible milestone. But what Aurora is really focused in on is our mission, right? We're a mission-driven company. Our mission is to deliver the benefits of self-driving technology safely, quickly, and broadly. And we need to do all of those things. So we've spent the last several years getting a lot of the pieces in place, not just to launch a driverless product, but also to be able to build a scalable business. That's been our focus. Most recently, we've had a really outstanding performance. We just released our fourth quarter results, where we talk about our performance, both in terms of our autonomy readiness measure. That's the closure of our safety case, which lets us know and the world know that we are going to be acceptably safe to operate on public roads. We're at 99%, and we're getting ready to close out the final steps for our safety case so that we can launch in April. And, in addition to being safe, we also have to be very performant. And what we've been really excited about our performance, we measure that in what we refer to as our 100% loads, 100% API loads. That's our autonomy performance indicator. And in there, our performance has been outstanding, and we're nearly at what we estimated would be our commercial launch number of 90%. And we've had really outstanding results lately. So I'm super excited about the opportunity right now.
And let's talk about what the business model looks at. I'm very excited to see, especially how the early stages of commercialization. Is that going to be something where, are you going to own the trucks? Are customers going to buy the trucks? Or are they going to lease it through? Is Aurora going to be hauling it? For folks who are maybe unfamiliar with how it may look, give us a little bit of a rundown of what that deployment's going to look when the rubber meets the road. Aha, my pun intended.
Yeah, I think, look, let's first start with the fact that like we're starting with a trucking product, right? It's super important to us. We think it's really attractive. Like the if you think about the U.S. Highway system, trucking is ideal spot to start because of such a self similarity to be able to deploy autonomous trucking at scale. When we start, we will own a fleet of autonomously capable trucks that are operated by the Aurora driver, and we will operate those specifically for our customer group. So we don't intend to contract directly with shippers. We're going to be operating for customers like the customers that we have today, which include Werner, Schneider, FedEx, Hirschbach, Uber Freight, among others, right? And so that's our intended purpose to start. Over the course of the next several years, and maybe the next 2 years, if I be a little bit more specific, we're going to shift to what is our long-term business model. That is a driver as a service business model where the customers own the AV capable trucks, and then there's a subscription to the Aurora driver. So we'll start off owning a fleet. We'll transition to driver over service over the next couple of years.
And I like the approach. I had conversations with others. A lot of folks owning the fleet first, you get to see firsthand, work out all the kinks, work out all the bugs, operationally get that warm and fuzzy. When we're looking at deployments in terms of lanes and pairings and location, is there anywhere cool in mind y'all are able to share, or is it going to be just based on the customer needs?
Well, yeah, I think we think it's really cool, right? Because not only are we going to launch on our Dallas to Houston, which is our launch lane, but we're going to fast follow that going out towards the west, where we operate today, actually regularly with safety drivers on Fort Worth, El Paso. We're getting similar performance. So after Dallas to Houston, we'll unlock that next shipping lane, which is Fort Worth, El Paso, and then we'll immediately extend that out to Phoenix. So those are the ones that we publicly talked about thus far. I think you characterized it really well. We are providing a service for our customers, and our customers are going to help drive where we want to go next. I think every area is exciting to a couple of folks, and so we look at it, and we're really excited about the opportunity just to be able to scale quickly. And we expect in 2027 that we're operating throughout half of the nation, right? And so that's the most exciting part about it, is the ability to continue to work with our customers unlock new lanes. So um, that's kind of the story today that we've publicly talked about.
And looking at the variety of use cases, I think that's really fascinating. It's mentioned brokers, carriers, LTL, parcel. Is there any kind of uniqueness in terms of as you're testing the product, or is it opening like more opportunities? Because the only thing I can think of is, if you're doing an LTL or you're doing a lot of hub to hub, but was there any cool things you all learned through these variety of customers they've been working with?
Yeah, well, I think you hit the nail on the head, right? Like each of these customers has their own focus, and what's not only important to them, but it's important to us to be able to deliver a product that creates value for them, and we have to integrate within each of their network strategies. And make sure that we do it where we're operationally efficient for them. So some of them, it is really important. Like if you're at FedEx, you can't miss a regional sort facility time frame, right? So you have to be on time. If you talk with other people and what's important to them, it might be having flexibility with the types of loads that are going to be delivered on a given day. With other folks, it might be the flexibility where, hey, maybe they're not going to be as on time. But what we know in the long run is that for us to create tremendous value for our customers, we need to be able to drive where they need us to go to. So we are going to start and launch in what we've described as terminal to terminal. Some people refer to it as hub to hub. We're going to start out in terminal to terminal, but we are going to start to quickly migrate to endpoints for customers that need us to get to their specific endpoints. And so every one of them's a little bit different on how they integrate, just like every one of them has a little bit different preference on which lanes they'd like us to start with. So it's really a customer centric, customer first approach where the customer is at the center of every decision we try to make.
And let's look ahead to 2026. So we have, we can also talk about performance afterwards. But one of the things, starting in April, you've got the first lane, 2 lanes planned out. What are we looking at ahead as scalability? How fast is this something where, especially with autonomous technologies, I can pump out like 1,000 trucks, or is it more of a slow and steady approach? Tell us a little bit more about those plans as we move into the next year.
Yeah. Well, maybe let me start with 2025 just to provide the context. In 25, our focus is building a business for the long term, right? And so we're ensuring that we have a great product that delivers on the value and the promise to the customers, okay? And so 25 is going to be the year where we demonstrate all the proof points necessary for the technology to show that we can actually deliver the benefits safely, quickly, and broadly. And so 25 is going to be just all about technology unlocks to create more and more value. 26, we're going to shift to a year where we're also going to demonstrate the financial promise of autonomous trucking, right? And so we'll substantially increase the number of customers, the number of lanes that we operate on, the number of miles that we're driven. Um, what I think about it, there's another thing that's important on here, and it's our target. It's not necessarily guidance, but our target is to achieve positive gross profit in 2026. And to be able to do that, you have to be able to drive at some scale, right? Both for miles and the number of trucks deployed. There's a couple of key enablers that we also need that we expect to happen towards the end of 25 that are going to be that are really going to help facilitate us going from the tens of trucks to the hundreds to thousands of trucks. And that is the introduction of our second generation hardware. And that is going to be manufactured by Fabrinet. And we expect to have that second generation hardware available by the end of 25. And that's going to be a key enabler to be able to really ramp up the volume and the number of miles driven and the utilization of the trucks.
And one of the conversations I've been hearing as well is shifting in terms of a cost per mile. Some autonomous truck makers have said the amount of miles traveled before it messed up and I had to fix it. What are some of, as you're talking to customers, is there a specific kind of thing that they're looking for, like that would make them want to switch over? Because I know if I'm a trucking company, I'm thinking, well, how much does it cost to have a driver end to end in an autonomous one? Am I getting savings? Are there any other big KPIs or factors that you're working on as you're making these pushes and then working towards not only the profitability but the use case?
Yeah, well, first and foremost is safety, right? Like, so every one of our customers and us, the value proposition of safety is the thing that everybody really loves. It's great to have an opportunity to create a more efficient and really help redefine the future of freight transportation. But we have to be able to do it safely. Certainly, customers care about cost of ownership. TCO is an incredibly important measure for them. If you think about the costs of the human-driven fleet today, it continues to go up and up and up. So I think there's a tremendous opportunity for us to provide cost benefits. Some of the cost benefits, as an example, is our fuel efficiency. We know that our autonomous fleet is going to average a substantially lower fuel cost than the equivalent fleet that's out there today. Utilization of trucks, where we're able to drive these trucks more regularly, where we can operate them well beyond the hours of service limitations. So you're able to get much higher truck utilization. Those are going to be key elements financially. And we also expect that as we demonstrate a safe product over time, we're also able to help from insurance just by having lower frequency and severity of incidents, and also having tremendous data to help explain the world around it when there are incidents that do happen. So we think there's a ton of value proposition levers that we can do. We talk about all of them with the customer. Our goal is to create value for them. And we think those are some of the primary areas to do it.
I like the safety aspect, because if you're thinking you can get a good deal with the insurance cost and prove that, especially with the capability of the sensors technology, the LiDAR, the entire arrays, it's almost like you have an advantage compared to a regular carrier with a dash cam, because you have to, by default, try to see everything around you in order to operate.
Yeah, for sure. This is having a safe product is going to be tremendously valuable for society. And it really is what motivates us. And it's the central point to the mission. I think as you start to talk to customers and you talk about some of the holes that they have to deal with today in terms of fault attribution and things like that, just the sensor suite around it, saying what happened in the world around it, I just think it's incredibly valuable for them. That they're really excited about having a greater level of transparency, and we are as well. And I think there's going to be unlimited opportunities for us to continue to explore and maybe figure out how we can create, a safer environment for all truck drivers, whether they're autonomous drivers or the tremendous number of truck drivers that are out there today delivering goods around the world.
And I would be amiss if I didn't ask money questions. Being the CFO, you know a lot more about money than I do. One of the big things is for a commercial launch, in looking at the balance sheet, you recently in 2024 had a large raise. I think it was 483 million back of, what is it, 2025, last August. And so talking about that, is that something where, what are the needs for a commercial launch? Is it a very expensive proposition, or is it something you kind of incorporate with your existing operations and you have a plan for?
Well, hey, great memory, by the way. It was 483, so that's outstanding. Yeah, like it is expensive. We are developing a technology that's going to hopefully for society create tremendous value from a safety. It's hopefully going to redefine a little bit of the future of freight transportation. So I think with that, you do have to spend a fair amount of money. If you look at our spend last year, from a free cash flow standpoint, we spent roughly 634 million in free cash flow. So we have 1,800 employees. We do have a lot of expenses. Um, we have a tremendous liquidity position right now with 1.2 billion in cash and short-term investments. We have a tremendous investor base, right, who believes in the mission and what we're trying to do and has been very supportive of us. We know that we're going to need to raise more money before we get to a self-funding state where it's free cash flow. But with our current position putting us into the second half of 2026, with our strong investor focus and just with some of the sentiment that we've seen recently and the excitement about launching a driverless product, we're very excited about the future.
And that was my final one as well. Is there any upcoming raises? I know that having the launch and everything, it's that's all the talk in the VC. You finish your first round, the next thing you know, there's always people asking, "Hey, can I get in on this next round?" Based on the information, should we expect probably in 2026 to start keeping our ear to the ground to see about additional capital raises as well?
Yeah, I think we have to raise additional money before we get to a self-funded state. We will continue to be opportunistic. We have been thus far for the last couple of raises. It's worked out pretty well right now, and I think that's a testament to our tremendous investor base. But nothing to declare today. I will tell you that you know we're excited about the future. We're excited about the opportunities. And I think if you think about, where we're at today, we're only a couple of short months away from launching our driverless trucking product. And again, I think that is going to be something that everybody generates excitement from. And it partly because we work so closely with all of our folks, but whether it's our investors, our customers, our partners, our regulators, everybody's contributed to make this a success, and I think that'll lead its way to opportunities for future fundraising.
And closing thoughts as well. We've got the upcoming launch. Anything else that we may have missed that you want folks to keep on their radar as y'all are about to have this huge, huge event?
Uh, Look, I would say the same thing as before. I think there's a ton of excitement right now. There's a ton of buzz, and I go back and look at what we're trying to accomplish as a company, and I just couldn't be more excited for it. I think the energy in our company is tremendous right now. We have an opportunity to help redefine the future of freight transportation, and the first step in that is to launching our driverless product. So we're really excited about the future. That's that's about all I would say on it. We're about as happy as we could be right now.
Well, David, I'm extremely happy for y'all as well. Looking forward to this. Folks want to learn more about Aurora or, keep in touch, reach out. What's the best way to get more information?
You can go to our website. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it if you want to get more information, aurora.tech. And also, if there's on there, you can also check out our blog, keep in touch with what we're doing. And we also have an investor relations group for folks that want to reach out and find out more about investing us in the future. That would be the best way to do it.
Perfect. David, really appreciate your time as well. We're going to have to touch base again soon.
Absolutely. Would look forward to it.
That's going to be a wrap for this episode, folks. If you're just joining us, we'll also be on demand, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, wherever else you can find your podcast. While you're at it, subscribe to the Truck Tech newsletter. It goes out every Friday. We got a lot more episodes coming up. I'll see you again soon.